What's up, everybody? This is Recap Rewind. I'm JLAG.
And I'm NB.
And we are recapping American Horror Story Season 8, Episode 1. And it's called The End.
And don't forget, guys, stick around for the ending because we are going to go through our recap roundups, our MVPs, our best moments, our best lines. So be sure to stick around for that. And JLAG.
Yes?
What did you think?
I loved it. I thought it was a really interesting, intriguing pilot, opening episode for the season. We heard a lot of things about the season. There was a lot of crossover that was going to happen. So I think it set up a lot that I'm really excited to see unfold as the season goes on. What did you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I love the episode. I loved how they set everything up. I loved the apocalypse in the beginning and everyone just rushing out. The whole vibe was definitely there. I'm just worried that they're gonna get too big for this season.
Right. Which you mentioned that
whatever.
A little bit earlier because they as we know, they're taking on the Coven crossover, they're doing the Murder House crossover, and on top of that, it's just a nuclear apocalypse. I feel like they didn't need the crossovers for
and
it
also
to be amazing.
Also, there was a cult crossover too in Coco and Billy Eichner's characters because they were the two people from Cult. So
oh, are they?
Yeah, because her name I think is the same. I think they just moved to LA. No?
Oh no.
I think I had read that somewhere. They were the people from Cult.
Oh.
Unless they're completely different. I don't know. It sounded like they were the characters from last season, but I could be totally wrong.
Right.
One of our listeners, please clarify for us if you guys know.
Let us know. Either way,
let's get into the episode. Let's get into right at the beginning when Ish hits the fan.
Yeah, so literally Ish hits the fan. Right off the top in the first 5 minutes of the episode, it's the end of times, essentially. And we are introduced to a few characters in a salon, including our girl Coco St. Pierre Vanderbilt, aka Leslie Grossman, and we also see Evan Peters, who plays her hairstylist, and then her I guess her, not her maid, her assistant, who's played by Billy Lord as that girl Mallory.
Yeah. So basically, her hair's did. She's cool, I look good. He's yeah, you're good. She gets a Skype call from her dad.
Yeah.
Who's a billionaire, I guess, and he's in Hong Kong with the mom and the son. He's yo, you gotta dip. But she has all these alerts on her phone, there's a ballistic missile coming, and she's just laughing it off. She's no, it's just a joke, it's what happened in Hawaii, no, this isn't actually real. And he's no, girl, it's real.
Because oh gosh,
but I feel like half the people in our generation would say the exact same thing, to be no man, nothing's happening. It's probably just a hoax. It's not real. And
it's really interesting to see even the way they set it up, and we've seen end of times movies and all this stuff, but this is so current because it's happening. I'm assuming this is happening in 2018. This season is taking place right now.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how people have been affected by social media, and how these phone alerts, we have these phone alerts, but it's not doing anything. It is making some people crazy and go insane, but then there's some people her husband's character, who's played by Billy Eichner, Brock. He gets out of a meeting and he's sick, I just got a deal, and she's no, this is serious, we gotta go.
Hurry.
So there's all these different people's perspectives,
and of course AHS is always exaggerated, and they're just crazy. So she gets this phone call. The dad's I have an airplane waiting for you at Santa Monica Airport, go there right now, get into the air, and you'll be good. So she gets there with Billy Lord's character. Mm-hmm. And then Evan Peters' character goes home, and his grandma is Joan Collins.
Yeah, she's Nana.
It was very random, though. I was I don't get it. Why?
I mean, I guess she's probably such an icon, a gay icon, and Ryan Murphy's we need her in the show.
True.
I have no idea. So she shows up as the Nana, and she's pretty funny. She's you can tell she's a bit of a Trump supporter, because she's I'm rich and I have all this money, and it doesn't matter, I'm gonna be untouchable. But he's no, we gotta go. So he drives to the airport.
So he gets to the airport too.
Yeah. And he's we need to get into this plane, we gotta leave. And things get even more hectic because first she calls her. It's such honestly, it's so funny to watch the way that they wrote this scene, because they started off with literally the scariest moment probably of our generation's lives is World War III, essentially.
For sure.
So like seeing that all unfold, but also throwing in all these like really funny moments, like between like
especially
Coco
between the two of
Saint-Pierre
them.
and
They're
like
hilarious.
she was basically like, I'm gonna leave you, but she's like, so you know that contract that we like wrote up when we were married, like you can now see other people. And she just hung,
he's like bitch, what? He's like, don't leave me in Santa Monica. And so basically hilarious. Like he can't get to the airfield in time because like people are literally storming the plane and they're like gonna kill her to get into the plane.
Like taking LA is like already bad with the traffic on a regular day. Like imagine when it's like these
and I think like honestly I think that scared me the most because it was such a simple like reason. Like the poor guy's literally stuck in traffic. Like he can't even get to her, and it's such a scary thought. Like the only thing in between you and your fam is like other cars and other people and traffic.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
So actually. It was really scary. So anyway, so like she gets into the plane, I guess, and like they dip. Mm-hmm. They fly up.
They fly out, and like the pilot or the person that was like helping them, like he even gets shot because people were rushing the plane.
So then they're in the plane, like they're in the air. The plane is like gorgeous inside, and then they realize that like there's no one flying the plane. It's like on autopilot.
Yeah. Because they're like, where are we even going? And then Mallory goes to the front. And she's like, there's nobody flying the plane.
She's like, but
I originally thought that they were going to crash. I'm like, wow, that was like such a waste of 4 characters. But they didn't crash. They like actually see the nuclear bomb like go off in the sky.
That was really freaky.
And then like Coco's
that was so scary.
Like it closes up on Coco's eye and she's like crying, and then it cuts to the credits. Which, by the way, we should probably talk about the credits since it's the first episode. What did you think of the? I
honestly didn't pay much attention to them, to be honest. I didn't analyze it. Yeah, yeah.
Mostly that reason.
Yeah.
No, I like from what I did notice, like it is its own like apocalyptic whatever, but you can definitely see that there's a lot of Coven crossovers. There's a lot of imagery from the Coven season that was inserted into this into the imagery for the opening.
Into the intro.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to see that right off the top they want you to know that it's going to be this like real like connection between those two stories.
Yeah. So I don't know much about like nuclear bombs, but like is the air the safest place to be when it hits, I guess?
I don't think so. Like, I'm actually thinking it's, like, a full-out miracle that they got away in the first place because I'm pretty sure that blast, like, is pretty insane. Also, like, a missile was coming after them, so, like, they're so lucky that they didn't even get hit by the missile in the first place. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all, like, let's just suspend our belief and assume that they're, like, all good. Unless, like, you know what I was kind of thinking, too? And this would be, like, the stupidest twist ever. But if, like, everything that's happening in the season is like basically everyone's already dead and like they're in like purgatory, which I feel like could be the potential situation where like they're deciding, because I really do feel like at this point in time like everything is currently really unbelievable, but it's also AHS, so I'm trying to like let it happen. But I feel like it really is going to play with the themes of death and like life and death
like
and
hell
and bad and hell and
like,
heaven.
We did see a lot of all those references even in this episode too, like 666 and like
yeah. So anyway,
and like,
we'll talk about all that. So right after the credits, it cuts to a scene that was 40 minutes before the bomb goes off. So basically, it's like where we saw Coco's character, but like with a new set of characters, and it's the guy, I think his name is Tim, or the kid's name. He's with his family, and then they get the alerts too. And these agents come, and they're like, "We're gonna take your son away because he has like this special DNA that could potentially protect him for like the next like
they basically want him to like repopulate the earth when it's like okay to come back up, I guess."
Right, but only like him. Like
only him, like not his parents, not his brother even, like it's just him. So they pull him away, and I think he was like, I don't want to go. They're like, you don't have a choice, like we're taking you. He like there was a full out SWAT team like in the house, and they're like, we're taking you with us. So they take him, and then obviously the family's like gonna die. Right. Which is so like I can't. It's really scary.
But that's the thing. Like they put us into 2 moments in that before the whole bomb explosion, and my heart was like, oh God, what would I do in that situation? Like it's so real.
And it was such a like contrast. Like here's like this one girl who's so rich, and like she had a way out, but like this kid had a way out, but his family obviously he's not gonna get out. Like it's a really sad story.
Yeah, like his dad was like basically like say goodbye to your family.
He's like say goodbye. Like this is it. It was so crazy. Heavy. It was so crazy. So they take him.
And then he gets like shacked up with like some other chick that they found.
Yeah.
I forget her name.
So where did they take him first? Is he like underground at this point?
So
like you're in the shelter, right?
Yeah, they put them in some like little like I guess temporary bunker where they're like, you're going to be safe here for now. And then 2 weeks later, so he meets some girl. I should know her name because we should. But he meets like I guess his like new love and interest for the season, which is very obvious in the very beginning.
Right. Yeah.
But she was in prison, so we know that she was in prison when they took her. So there's gonna be, I'm sure, gonna be a little bit of backstory there. But she was protesting. That's why she said that she was protesting when it happened. So
they took her because of her DNA is like lit too. So
right, her DNA is lit. So they're both taken away, and then it's like a cut to 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So this is like Fallout season basically.
Yeah.
And it's like very dreary. It shows like the outside world now, and it's like everything's dead.
Is scary.
It is like bleak AF. Like it's like everything's dead. Everything's like dark and gray. And there's clouds everywhere. So they are taking a car to this one space, and like essentially the people who took Timothy away was like, they were like, okay, well, you're going to be staying here now. It's a part of the collective. So we learned about the collective a little bit, which is essentially a like group of elite people who prepared themselves for something like this, and they set up all these bunkers around, I don't know, the world, or if it's like
maybe
like
just
in LA. I have no idea. But there's like a couple, and this is like the third outpost of like I don't know how many, and so they're gonna take them there. And so they get there and they meet our girl, Sarah Paulson, aka Wilhelmina Venable.
Yeah, what
did
a
you think
name.
of that introduction and like who?
I mean, I love her. I love her character. I felt like the intro was a little cheese. Like she came in all like talking like she was from like the 15th century. Like
and they're wearing
it was a little
clothes.
Like it was
really
a little
awkward.
like it was almost like a show. Like it was like a play.
Like a Broadway.
And they're putting on a show for them, which I guess they kind of are in a sense.
Like Moulin Rouge.
But yeah, so they get introduced. And one of the things which I didn't understand, like one of the things that she tells the two kids that are obviously going to fall in love, like she says, like, you guys can't like sleep together.
Yeah,
obviously.
she gives like house rules, and essentially it's like, so the two major ones that we take away are, number one, like no copulation is allowed, like no unauthorized copulation. And they're like, how would you even know? And they're like, so the one thing that we did miss talking about is as they're walking to the bunker, they see these two people like standing on the outside, and they just get shot in the head as they're walking by. So like clearly, and she says like, there's no copulation allowed. Are you guys serious? And like Miss Venable is like, you saw the two grays that were like on the outside when you guys were coming in. Like, I'm dead ass serious, or you're gonna get shot in the face, basically. And then the second house rules, or I guess like what this whole situation is all about, is there's a divide in like society already in this bunker. So there's the purples, and then there's the grays. So the purples are like the nobility, the people that are, I guess, the part of the next, like
the more valuable people.
The more valuable.
So the two kids were in purple, right?
Yeah. And then they have to wear purple clothes, and the clothes are very like Victorian, kind of like very posh, like fancy pantsy. And like the girl was like, the fuck am I wearing this for? And she was like, you have to dress like a purple. You're a purple now. Because you're basically royalty. And then the grays are like the worker bees, who have to like take care of everything. And also she asked her like, are you a purple? Like the girl asked, like, are you a purple? And Sarah Paulson's character says, like Wilhelmina says, I'm not either. I'm just like, see me as like the face of the group that's taking care of you guys. Like of the collective.
She said she's like one of the strongest arms, or like the strongest branch of the collective or something, or like she does their work or something.
She's like, just see me as the face right now, because like they're like, I'm representing them. But then we dig deeper into that a little bit later in the episode. But
so we basically stay in this like underground bunker for the rest of the episode, right?
Which I feel like the entire season is going to be in the bunker.
No, I really hope it's not.
Why?
I really hope it's not. It was so dreary, and it like, I felt like nothing much, like it was just conversations happening
Right.
Like, I don't know. It can't.
I mean,
it won't stay like that. That's a crazy. Like, that'll be such a letdown. But like, I think most of it probably is gonna be underground.
I mean, the one thing that I
or
will
in a
say
bunker.
about American Horror Story is what they do a lot of, and they did it last season with Cult, is they focus on people's fears. And I feel like that whole idea of being uncomfortable, being bored of seeing the same people day in, day out, like the claustrophobia, like they're going to try to enhance that for the audience, because that is like a fucking horror story for me. Like, people don't want to be held down into this in these
But
small
I also
little bunkers
think
for their entire life.
yeah, no, for sure. And like how it makes
we're-
you crazy.
Yeah, I think we're meant to feel a little uncomfortable. I do agree that it shouldn't like
And
it
you
should
know
move
how
at some
AHS
point,
does
but
things. They never have a linear way of telling a story.
That's
So I
true.
feel like we are gonna like jump back and forth into people's like backgrounds,
Yeah,
flashbacks.
Like we got that like
yeah.
California sun for like 2 minutes, and then
Seriously,
it's like
I was so happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they basically sit down for like the first dinner is when we sort of see everyone in the same room, right?
Yeah, and it's essentially everybody that we met in the first the first act with like.
Yeah, so it was
Coco and,
everyone
like,
in the
his-
airplane,
Yeah.
plus the two lovebirds, and then
Plus-
another couple, right?
Right. The gay
That was
couple.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Andre and some other guy, I don't even know who he is. But Andre's played by Jeffrey Bauer Chapman, who I have a huge crush on. Mm-hmm. And also Adina Porter, who plays Dinah
Yes,
Stevens.
she was there. Yeah.
So
she was
she's
there
the
too.
one who plays like Beverly in like last season.
Yeah.
She's like the one that was in like all these other seasons of American Horror Story. And she plays, I guess, she's like a talk show host. Like the way
Yeah,
they refer to her is like she's kind of like an Oprah, but better.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, so she's in that storyline too, and then we also meet.
Wait, did her character in Cult become a talk show host?
No, so I thought it was the same person, but
Okay,
it's not,
okay,
because her
okay.
name was Beverly in Cult.
True, okay.
So unless you
So,
change
yeah.
her name,
No,
but
yeah.
it's not. So
And then we have Kathy Bates.
Then we
also.
meet Kathy Bates, who's basically like an army monster lady, and she helps Sarah Paulson. Like she's basically
Yeah.
like the strong arm in this
Yeah.
situation. So yeah, I think that's basically everybody. We do see Amazon Eve. I don't know if you noticed that, but she's one of like the military people. She was in Freak Show. She's like the super, super tall giant lady.
Oh no, I didn't notice her.
Yeah, so that's also, I guess, like an Easter egg crossover.
Where
of
was
the
she?
season. She was just like one of the army people. She was like in the background. She didn't have any
Oh.
speaking lines this episode.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure she's gonna like play a part later. Yeah, so they all sit down for dinner, and then they realize that there's like rations for food. They have to eat these like tiny little cubes of nutrition. And you also have to remember that these people have been there for like 2 weeks prior to the kids coming. So they're like already going a little crazy. And they're like, what are we gonna do? Like, this food is so shit. Like, Coco's losing her mind. She's like dropping every type of like insult. Like, she's like over it. But then I guess the big thing that happens at dinner time is like somebody is radiating. Like they found a radiation spike.
Right. Yeah. The
in
radiation's
space.
going off.
So she comes in, what's her face? Kathy Bates comes in with like the checker, and she starts checking everybody, and everybody's like all tense or whatever.
And I guess I guess they're very strict. We find that out too. They're very strict with people taking care of themselves.
Yes.
And like making sure they're like clean and like they don't have radiation on them, obviously.
And also
it's
they're
gonna affect
not
other
allowed,
people.
Like they're never allowed under any circumstances to go above ground at all.
Yeah.
So there's that.
But that was my question too. I was like, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, continue on.
Yeah. So they're not allowed to go up, but basically she's checking and she's saying like someone might have lied and said that they went up, but when they really didn't. So then it ends up on the guy that I don't know his name, but like Jeffrey Bauer Chapman's like boyfriend.
The boyfriend, yeah.
He like starts like going off, and then so does Mr. Gallant, who's Evan Peters.
Yeah.
So they both have to be sent away for like decontamination, and they get like scrubbed like to death, like shot.
Yeah,
like,
she's like scrubbing their bodies,
like
their
they're
naked
like
bodies.
raw, like they're like red.
Ugh.
And it's like so disgusting. And then finally they do this second check, and like Mr. Gallant is clean.
She was like going on his butt, and I was like, "What? Does he have something like sort up there?"
And I was like worried about like is this gonna be like a whole like commentary on like gay people not being allowed to be a part of the next generation.
True.
Like I didn't know, I wasn't sure where they were going with it, but he like ends up like getting cleared, but the other guy is still dirty, and the other guy's like, please don't do that to me again, and they're like, don't worry about it, and they like blow his head off like right away.
So he's gone.
So RIP to that guy.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say that we forgot to mention is as the two kids are getting ready right before dinner is Timothy's taking a shower, and he like gets out of the shower and he sees a 666 that's like drawn onto the mirror in like steam. So, and then it disappears like right away. What did you think that was in that moment?
And yeah, like at the same time when he sees it, you hear Wilhelmina's like whispering voice. So like, I definitely think like you were saying before, like there's something to do with like the underground, the underworld, like death, wherever the F we are. Yeah, like it's something, and like I don't think she must have superpowers or something that she's whispering.
You think Wilhelmina does? Or you don't think like the entire bunker is just like haunted?
Yeah, it could be, but then like why is it her voice like whispering?
True, I don't know.
Anyway,
it's weird. So anyway, cutting back to the guy dying, and everybody's basically going insane, but at the same time like this guy is like dead.
Yeah.
And
everyone's basically hungry AF right now.
Yeah, super super hungry, and they're over it. But there's nothing that can be done. Like this girl, like what's her name? Coco's hair is like all fucked up now.
Yeah, and then it also skips to like 18 months later, right? At that point? Right.
They're still in there. I think at one point in time they finished dinner and like the song keeps playing.
Oh my God, I was dying. That was so funny. Because they're like, I think the same song is playing over and over again for like a month or whatever.
And I'm assuming that like they're thinking that it's coming straight from the collective. Like it's like a message from them. Like it's
maybe yeah.
Because as soon suddenly the song changes, so that means that for like the past like 3 weeks or whatever they were in there that it was playing that same song.
Yeah.
So they change it, and like Mr. Gallant's like, oh my God, they changed it. It's a sign. We're gonna get out. They're gonna come for us soon. And then like it cuts back, and it's like no, like 18 months later.
And you know how they do their title screens like dum. It's like 18 months later. I was like, wow, they never got out.
Yeah, and like Coco's hair is like all jacked up at this point. Like she doesn't give a shit. She's like super hungry. Everybody's tired. Everybody's over it. I think it was just really funny seeing how like they showed that whole like time lapse, but at the same time like 18 months, that's like long.
I was thinking about that too. I was like, yo, that's like more than a year.
That's a year.
Like that's a long time to just be stuck underground, barely any food, like you're gonna go crazy basically.
Yeah, and you're doing the same thing every single day. I'm surprised that any of them like didn't go insane and kill themselves, like yet at least.
So they're back at dinner. They're eating again.
They're eating again.
Or did that happen before the 18 months flew by?
I don't even remember because I feel like we might have like scrambled up. Like,
basically, at some point they eat the dead guy's body.
Yes. Oh, his name is Stu. Now I remember.
Because it was like we had stew in a stew.
Yeah, exactly. So the guy that died, they're like, oh, as a gift because everybody's like traumatized by the death. Here's like a special meal, and they finally get to eat like meat, like full meat.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is this? It looks like a finger. And then the guy starts freaking out and being like, oh my God, it's like stew. And like the boyfriend's like, no, like you guys are eating him. And like Joan Collins is like, I don't care, I'm like hungry right now. But it was like really fucked up. So I don't really know what the situation was, but I'm assuming that yes, it was him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, it's true. Is it cannibalism if they don't properly cook it? Like, isn't that gonna screw you guys all
I mean,
up?
not to sound savage, but at the end of the day, like, you guys are gonna starve. You guys are going crazy already. Like, just if it's gonna fill you up, just eat it. Just eat it. Don't speculate. Like, they could have taken the bones straight out of the soup. Like, I don't know why they left freaking human bones in there.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, they were so bait. But like, like at least do that.
Anyway, yeah, it's really sketchy. I think we also missed a scene. We're missing scenes. We're a little all over the place. But there was a scene where right after dinner, Kathy Bates' character is like getting ready. And she like knocks on the door. And she goes into Sarah Paulson's room. And Sarah Paulson's wearing a purple dress. And so is Kathy Bates, and like they're so excited. They're looking in the mirror as if they're like, oh my god, we're like,
so what does that mean up. What did that all mean?
So all that to me meant was they're supposed to be technically working for the collective, but right now I think they just found out that like a few of the outposts have like been destroyed. So they're like one of the last remaining ones. So they're no longer, they don't feel like they're any longer attached to the collective. They want to be a part of the elite, but they've been these like worker bees kind of. So it's like this fantasy that they're trying to live of like being these purples and like being doted on and stuff, but they're never going to be able to like get to that level. That's why they were like, do we look silly? Like they acted as if they had never worn purple clothes before. So it's very much like a secret for sure, like that they're like sneaking around, like drinking, like
they were like
wine
playing cards,
and, like, playing cards.
Like definitely feeling themselves and having a good time.
Right. And also we learned that like a lot of it was set up. So like she pretended that the guy was actually had radiation. Yes. Like, so there's a lot of things that show that they have a lot of power to manipulate and control this group of people. The question that I have is like, why are they doing this? Like what's the reasoning behind them?
It's interesting because Kathy Bates' character had a moment where she said, she goes, I was born into like an army family.
Right.
Like I follow rules. I take orders. So someone who says that to me is okay with taking orders and like she's obedient, but maybe she's gotten to a point where she's like, F that, this is the new world and I'm going to be on top kind of thing.
I think that's what Sarah Paulson's trying to like persuade her to be more of, like to be more like open to the idea of like us being able to take over the world.
It's almost like there's a new world and you get a chance to start over, right?
Yeah.
So who do you want to be in this new world, essentially?
Right. And okay, so this is my question to you, NB, because I'm not sure if I'm just reading into it too early or what, but should we be looking so far into the idea that it's two women who are running this bunker, and that already with the power that they have over a span of less than a year, they've already turned it into a very like it's very manipulative. It's very like, do you think it's a commentary essentially on
I think
ruling the world and
I think because last season was so the opposite of where it's funny because when I started watching it on TV last night, I watched the ending of Cult because they were just replaying the old episode.
Right.
So I was rewatching that finale and where like was his name Tate? What was his name?
No, I forgot his name, but yeah.
Anyways, he was like going off, the cult leader, and he was like, "You're never gonna rule the world. You're never gonna have this. Like, men are gonna be like better." Da, da, da. And so going off of that, and then going into this season, I was like, "Oh my god! Like, is he flipping the switch and now giving the chance to these women?" To run the world, to have that chance, and to see what they're going to do with it. But I think definitely that can be a theme. Right. And maybe is for the season, for sure.
But my worry is, like, but that's what I'm saying. Are they trying to say that women are just going to be these, like, manipulative, crazy
people? I think you're going to get both. I think he's probably going to show you different types of leadership, you know?
Right. And I guess that's probably why we're going to see a bunch of Coven, storyline in there. It's going to be like a Destiny's Child music video.
But definitely, like I think Cordelia. You know, focusing on women having the power now in this new world, breaking all the old systems, and now women have a chance to start. What are they going to do with it?
Right.
So
but they don't got the power for too long because I think we're basically at the end of the episode.
Yeah, it was at the end.
Essentially, we get a new visitor coming through the gates, and he's riding on a like in a horse and carriage, which I thought was kind of weird because I'm like, how are these horses?
No, it looked so creepy. Yeah,
it looked really creepy. It was very cinematic, but like this like horse and carriage come through, and I'm like, of course the horses like have lesions all over them because like they're radiation.
Yeah.
But he rolls up and he shows his ID, and it says Michael Langdon.
Dun dun dun.
And so the big twist in this, and like the big reveal, is that Michael Langdon is the character from Murder House, if you don't remember, who was the like devil child essentially. So this is Tate's like rape child / the woman that gave birth to him.
With Connie Britton's character.
Right.
So this is the spawn of that kid, and there's been talk that he's sort of like the Antichrist of this season. Like so when he walks into the shelter, he takes off like his mask, whatever. He has like this long blonde, like beautiful hair.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen American Crime Story Versace, he also plays like one of the characters in that series.
Yeah, so basically he gets into the shelter and he's talking to Sarah Paulson's character, right? Mm-hmm. And he's explaining to her that the other outpost, they're all gone, or there's no one left, but he has like a next level outpost that he wants to take people to.
Right. So he basically says everybody else is dead or they're on their way out. I want to check in to see how you guys are doing, because you guys are going to basically be in the same situation soon. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, so you're coming to save us? And he was like, no, I'm actually here to decide who's going to be worthy to like stay,
to be saved, yeah,
and who's going to be like saved. So he's basically going to decide like everyone's life at this point.
Yeah.
And that's how the whole episode ends.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's end. It. So what are we taking away
So what
from
do you
this?
think? Like, who do you think is going to be, like, who do you want to be saved at this point?
That's a good question. I think, like, right off the top, like, you want, like, Coco St. Pierre to be saved because she's, like, a crazy bitch. But... yeah, I mean, I get it's really hard to say right now how they're gonna set this up. Like, is it gonna be like the Hunger Games? Like, they're gonna like make like he's gonna make them go
people
through,
are
like,
saying
some, like,
it might be
tests
like
or whatever.
that. Yeah,
like I'm not sure how they're gonna set all this up, but it seems like it's gonna be very much like everyone's gonna be out for themselves. Like, it's raised the stakes obviously quite a bit. To see who's going to step forward and actually, like, they spent 18 months like managing each other, but now that there's like something at stake, like they're gonna, like, especially if it's like the chance to leave,
of course,
they're gonna definitely, like, this is like some twisted Willy Wonka shit. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how they all start like turning on each other or like ratting each other out. Like, we know that there's that budding love story with Timothy and his girl, so like, are they going to get in trouble for that? Like, or is someone going to rat them out?
I'm definitely down to, and I know what the story is obviously going to expand with these other characters.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get too attached to these guys here in this bunker, because I feel like by next week we'll go and explore like another place.
Okay.
So I'm kind of
like
ready to. Yeah. No. It's there's so many more characters.
Bunker.
Like, there's Emma Roberts still. So like all those characters are still gonna have to come into play at some point. Sure. It's just where are we gonna? We still have to get to Coven. Like, we have to see Coven, I think.
Yeah, but I think we have to see Coven come in, and this is, I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, but like, we haven't seen, like, everyone who's watched the trailer, go watch the trailer, but essentially in the trailer you see the Coven come to this particular bunker, so they are going to see them face to face. And it's really interesting because I was trying to figure this out, and maybe you have some answers too, but Madison Montgomery, who's played by Emma Roberts, as well as I forget her name, but the one who's played by Frances Conroy in the Coven season, both of those characters died. Like, those are the two specific characters that actually like kicked the bucket in Coven. Cordelia Good, who is also played by Sarah Paulson, is the only surviving person in that trailer. So I was like, does that mean that they brought them back to life? Is it because it's the end of times, like apocalypse, that, like, you know how they say, like, in the end of times all the dead people will come back to life and they'll be properly judged or whatever. Like, maybe, like, do you think that's the situation?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, because Emma Roberts is legit back from the dead, because last time we saw her, like, her Frankenstein boyfriend like choked her to death. So like, I don't know, like, what do you think?
I don't know. I think honestly that your theory of like this being hell could very well be like what it is at the end.
Right.
But how
like
it's all gonna unfold, like I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
And then like get to the bottom, like we're still gonna see Connie Britton and like all the, like, even her husband, like we're gonna see everyone, right? So it's like, how are we gonna see, like, what's happening, guys? I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
McDermott again. But yeah, even what's his name? Cheyenne.
Oh, I love him. He's my favorite.
He's coming back. Like,
I forgot his name. I love him.
People. Cheyenne Jackson. Sorry, I knew that it was Cheyenne Jackson. There's so many people coming back to the season that I don't even know like where to begin.
That's what I mean. Like, where are they gonna all fit?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm excited.
I'm like you said, I'm a little nervous where they're gonna take this story, because I feel like already this story, outside of every other like partial storyline that's gonna come could be its own story. Like, I'm already scared. I'm already like worried about what's gonna happen. It is a little terrifying. Adding that supernatural element, I guess, with the witches is what really makes it like American Horror Story. But sometimes I feel like they go over the top with like the magic and like the murder and like whatever. So it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. Do you think that we're gonna see Billy Eichner again? Like,
I don't know.
low-key.
I almost, I think he's doing something else, but I almost feel like they had him in there for like
a cameo.
Like, yeah, like a cameo just for jokes, to be like, look, it's him. I don't know if they'll bring him back for the full season. Look, at the end of the day, there's so many people. Like, there's still like more than half the cast that we haven't even seen yet. So I'm just like, how are we going to see everyone? What, like, do we have enough time to see everyone?
Like 5 minutes to see each person.
Yeah,
that's true.
And I don't just want it to be that, like, oh, 5 minutes, hey, I'm here, and like, and then they're out. Like, I want it to actually mean something and have it all connect to each other, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I agree 100%.
Recap roundups.
Best moment.
So I'm going to say that my best moment was the end of the episode with the whole, like, let the Hunger Games begin, essentially, with Michael Langdon coming in, even that reveal of him coming through into the bunker. I didn't even realize it was Michael Langdon until I, like, looked up a couple of reviews. I was like, oh, true, it's him.
Yeah.
And he's, like, coming in, like, looking like Lestat from, like, Interview with the Vampire. Like, I'm really excited to see what element this is going to add to the story. What about you?
For sure. My best moment was Kathy Bates and Sarah Paulson just being like, hey, feeling ourselves. They were like just like playing cards together, like in secrecy. Like, it was a really cute, almost sisterhood. But I'm like, guys, don't get ahead of yourselves. Like, you're gonna have to like rule this ish, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
And it was that first moment where I was like, damn, is he gonna really look at how women are gonna, you know,
try
lead?
to run the world?
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
WTF moment.
My WTF moment was your moment. It was just seeing Michael Langdon like in the end with like his beautiful blonde hair, and I was like, ooh, my who this Beto? And like he was just so like beautiful but like eerie at the same time, and I'm like, oh, he knows stuff. Yeah, like he was very creepy, and it almost felt like Sarah Paulson's character was a little scared of him.
Yeah, nervous.
So very nervous. So I'm very excited to see like all that play out.
My WTF moment is the guy getting shot in the head like right away. Like, I thought it was just so jarring. Like, it wasn't as terrifying to see like even like the two people getting shot when they were going into the bunker. Like, just like seeing that guy being like, oh, I don't want to get clean. He's like, don't worry about it. Boom. Like, it was just so. And then I guess on top of that, like the whole like eating him part, which was kind of expected after he died. Yeah. But at the same time, I was like, this is so.
I feel like we're 8 seasons in for AHS. Like, you can expect everything and anything because this show is literally crazy.
It's true. That's a good point.
MVP.
My MVP has to go to one of the most waste characters of this episode, but I effing love her. Coco St. Pierre Vanderbilt. Like, they had to add like Vanderbilt to it.
Coco St. Pierre.
Played by Leslie Grossman, because like, she was just like killing me laughing the entire time. What they did with her hair at the end of the episode, like I'm sure she's just gonna be like a kill off at some point, but I think she's just like hilarious to watch. Like, I love her.
I feel like she's one of those characters that, like, we're in movies where she always dies like early.
Right.
I feel like she's gonna be that character in every season now.
Not without like saying something sassy.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm excited for that. How about you?
My MVP is gonna go to Wilhelmina Venable.
You're okay with her right now.
I'm a little intrigued, so I'll give it to her.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm gonna give her MVP like moving forward, but for now, like I'll give
episode
that
1,
to her.
Season 8,
and
episode 1.
And like apparently she's playing 2 other characters, so let's see what happens.
She's gonna be playing Cordelia from Coven, but she's also playing Billie Dean Howard, who was the psychic from Murder House.
How is that gonna happen?
I have no clue. I mean, it's gonna be like
are they gonna come face to face? This is so weird.
I'm sure they will. They're gonna be like doing like I said, like a Destiny's Childhood dance off. It's gonna be hilarious. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how she plays all those characters. But yeah, Wilhelmina's interesting. It's very different. Currently, it's very different from whatever Sarah Paulson's normally done.
Yeah, because she's always like scared and like screaming and like dying. And now she's like a boss ass bitch. So
exactly. It's so true. Like, finally she's starting off like a little bit like maniacal, a little bit creepy.
LVP.
My LVP is going to be Kathy Bates, because I just feel like she's right off the top. Like, her name is Marion Mead in the show. I just think that right off the top, she's like very eerie. I don't think she knows what she's doing with herself in this storyline. She shoots that guy for no reason. Like, I'm all about like gay power, so I just feel like personally attacked by that that murder. Yeah, and just to find out that she did it just to manipulate the whole story, and just so they can have, like, for all we know, she did it just because she was hungry. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, seriously.
So yeah, she's my LVP.
My LVP is gonna go to Evan Peters' character, Mr. Gallant, because I'm just like, not necessarily his character, but him. I was like, this character kind of seems lame for Evan Peters to be playing. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Now, granted, I could be totally just like early with it, and his character could be like lit AF, but like, I just feel like right now I'm like, this is all you're playing. I know he's playing Tate as well at some point in the season, but this one I was just like not really impressed with.
Like, I guess your question is like, they already have like another gay character. They have Jeffrey Bauer Chapman as like the screaming gay, like obviously like that's essentially what Mr. Gallant's gonna bring to, because he's like I'm not having this, I'm done, I'm gonna throw this plate. Like, he's just as sassy. So like, do we need two of them? Like, is he gonna have like a, like, to your point, is he gonna have like a character arc? Like, is he gonna have any development as the story goes on? Like, what's his purpose? So yeah,
for sure.
Like, yeah, I guess to this point, like, he can be the LVP because like he was there, but he like didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Really.
The best line.
My best line, it goes to actually Ryan Murphy, his tweet after I think the show aired. And all he said was, hair like his mother, eyes like his father. And I got chills because like it was right at the end where like Michael Langdon came out, and I was like, oh my god, his tweet like made me, it gave me so many goosebumps.
Hearing hair like his mother though is like kind of killing me, because Connie Britton's like, now her hair is like popping into my head.
Yeah, right.
Like,
it's true though.
Hair.
Yeah.
That's so creepy. That's so true. But his eyes aren't like Tate. Weren't Tate's eyes black? Anyways,
I think they're blue. So yeah, I think he just wanted to say it like because of the hair thing.
Like,
but
or whatever.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do with this character, honestly.
And like, guys, honestly, there's so many things that they released during like when the actual show was airing on Twitter. Like they released like these little Easter eggs where you're like, what are they trying to say right now? You know? So it's really cool. Like, even after watching the episode, just like go back and like read Ryan's tweets, read like AHS's Twitter feed, and just see like if you can, you know, solve any like of those like mysteries.
Yeah, maybe we'll try to like live tweet it next week. My best line, there were so many great lines in this episode. Some are more serious than others. Like, I think Sarah Paulson's character, she has a lot of really interesting quotes where she talks about how social media was like the beginning of the end, and like there's a lot of like social commentary that is talked about with her character. But I'm gonna take a lighter note and say my favorite line is "Coco, don't leave me in fucking Santa Monica" by Billy Eichner, because
I was like, what's wrong with Santa Monica? Santa Monica's beautiful.
Yeah, but he was like gonna die.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think the writing in this episode was great.
So good. It really was. Yeah.
Like, it was light just enough. It was really heavy when it needs to be heavy.
They're just so relevant, and I love that. Like, they're so current with their little like inside jokes and like all those little things. I'm like, you know, they're really it was really good.
And it's very relevant. It's very like 2018. Like, you feel like you're watching something now, even though they're like in these like get-ups. Like, you can tell they feel uncomfortable wearing these clothes. So it'll be interesting to see how they play with that whole like old-timey versus like new age, like, or is this going back to the old age? Like, it's gonna be interesting how they play with that element as well. All right, guys, that's the episode.
That's it.
We will be back next week with another podcast on AHS, Apocalypse. So make sure you guys keep staying tuned to the podcast. Also, make sure if you haven't done so already, you are liking and commenting and subscribing to our channel. We are literally everywhere.
We're on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. We're on Twitter.
We're on like Google Music. Like, literally everywhere. So.
And honestly, guys, we love hearing your commentary and your theories. And if we missed anything, because we probably did, but comment below under the video and like let us know what you guys are thinking, or what we should be looking forward to in the season.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of my favorite things from last season of American Horror Story was hearing people's commentary. So I really want to have like an open dialogue with this season.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be great. All
okay,
right,
guys. Thanks for
so
listening.
much.
Bye.
Bye.